Another Arctic blast on the way. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Hanrahan. Want to update you on a very wintry weather pattern that has settled into the northeastern United States. The only thing right now that we're missing is snow. We've got a lot of cold, but the question is, where is the snow? Do we have any in our future? We've got a couple systems that we're watching. Want to dive right into it for you and show you what's going on. First, what I'm showing you here is the temperature anomalies across most of North America. And you can see basically from the Rockies on east, or east of the Rockies, there's a whole lot of cold. The cold's coming straight down from Canada, and this cold is going to be with us over the next several days. This is through day 4, so this is the 96-hour forecast. You can see, especially as we get to next Monday and Tuesday, this cold air comes right down from Manitoba and Ontario and settles into New England as we head into early next week. So we warm up a little bit this weekend, then we're back to the colds across New England by Monday and Tuesday. So before we get there, we've got one little issue we need to contend with across southern New England, potentially New York and Long Island on Saturday morning. Now this, as things like this go, this is a pretty minor deal, but I think it could cause some issues, and I want to show you why. So what I have here is one of our high-resolution computer models. It's the HRRR. It's the high-resolution rapid refresh. It's a very tight resolution, so we're able to see some small-scale details. And I'm going to advance the clock here. This brings us to 4 a.m. Saturday morning. This is 7 a.m. Saturday morning, and you can see there's this gray shading across New York City, up into portions of Connecticut, central and western Massachusetts, and out on Long Island as well. And what this here is it's a little bit of precipitation that is going to develop tomorrow morning. Now, it's not a lot, but it looks like it will be cold enough that it will produce some snow and potentially some freezing drizzle in some towns as well. So let's take a closer look at that. First, it's always important to look at, okay, why is this forming? Like, what's going on here in the first place? And this is a very, what we call a weak inverted trough. And essentially what you have is you have air that is just coming together in the low levels of the atmosphere, and that air is forced to rise. As the air converges, it rises. And you've got this shallow layer in the lowest, about 7,000 feet of the atmosphere. You've got a little bit of convergence. And you're going to get this narrow band of some light precipitation. If you look closely here, let me show you. You can see here across from Cape Cod down to just south of Long Island, out toward New Jersey. If you look close, you can see there are these little arrows showing the wind is coming in from the southeast. So that southeasterly wind is bringing in some moisture off the Atlantic. But at the same time, across Connecticut and New York and New Jersey, winds are either calm or light out of the north. And so that sets up this little tiny zone area of convergence. And so that's where we're going to see the potential for this light precipitation. Another way of looking at this is looking at the moisture in the lowest levels of the atmosphere. This is about 3,000 feet up, 2,500, 3,000 feet. And this dark purple shading, I'll go back in time here, and you can see this dark purple shading that moves through New York and then Connecticut, portions of Massachusetts as well. That's where you've got this low-level moisture around. That's where the humidity is close to 100%. And so you put all that together and you get the potential for some snow. There is some question as to whether or not it will actually be cold enough in the cloud to produce snow. Generally, you need temperatures below about -6 or -7 degrees Celsius in a cloud to get ice crystals. Otherwise, you just get super cooled water. And looking at some of our computer models here, this is a sounding showing you've got some moisture here in the lowest levels of the atmosphere. But there's a lot of dry air right above that. So the cloud is sort of borderline, and that's why I think especially along the coast and on Long Island, there's the potential for a little bit of freezing drizzle, because even though it's going to be below freezing, the cloud is not quite cold enough to contain ice crystals. And so even though you're below freezing, you could get a little freezing drizzle. That could give you a little glaze of ice. So in the grand scheme of things, does not look like that big of a deal. However, anytime you've got a little bit of snow, potential for some accumulation, and it's all pretty minor and scattered, sometimes you don't get a lot of pre-treatment on the roads in a situation like that. So that can cause some issues. So just be something to be mindful of for Saturday morning. That's something we're going to be watching. Let me get another system that comes in Sunday night and Monday morning. One of our computer models, the GFS, the American computer model, was pretty bullish on a decent little system. It was able to strengthen a little bit. It would have brought in a couple inches of snow to most of southern New England, but it was sort of on its own. and it has backed away from that. And so now most of our computer models are showing very little. So here is the setup. We're looking up toward the jet stream layer, have vorticity plotted on the map. Vorticity shows you spin in the atmosphere. And when you get a little heightened area of that, that's where you've got this little upper level disturbance moving through. And it doesn't really do a whole lot here. It just sort of moves through the Great Lakes. It tries to sharpen a little bit, but it's not particularly impressive. The jet stream pattern isn't really conducive for it to sharpen up and get a storm to develop. So it's enough to bring in some lift and to bring in some light precipitation, but not enough to do anything really exciting. So because of that, it doesn't look like this is going to amount to a whole lot. You can see here, as we look at the precipitation, most of it's across northern New England, doesn't really dig south enough to bring stuff into southern New England or New York. So we're looking at upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. Could be a couple inches of snow up there, some light and fluffy snow for Monday morning. Here in southern New England, maybe a couple snow showers. I think that's probably about it. Monday morning before daybreak, but this is turning into sort of a non-event. So we're not too excited about that one. So now let's talk about the colds. So we got another blast behind that little system on, well, actually, let me go back here. Let's see what happens to the system. So once the system moves up into portions of the Canadian Maritimes, it sort of strengthens a little bit and helps drag down some colder air from the north. And so we really get this nice cold high pressure system settle in. That high is right over us Tuesday morning. So Tuesday morning has the potential to be quite cold. I think we've got the potential to get near zero in some towns, potential for record-breaking cold. Here's a look at the temperature anomalies in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and it's really cold come morning here on Monday. So with that in mind, we've got the potential here for temperatures that will be well below normal. And again, Tuesday morning, maybe the coldest air we've seen so far this year, so far this season, I should say. So another blast of some cold. Then we moderate things a little bit toward the middle of the week. So, all right, let's widen out our time horizon here to see if anything of interest is starting to pop up on the computer models. There's what this graph is showing. It's a little more complicated here, but I think it's sort of instructive as to what we're looking at. So in time here is on the, we go forward in time as you go from left to right. So this right here is Saturday morning, and notice some of it, this is the European ensemble, and of the 50 different ensemble members, most of them show a little bit of measurable snow in the Hartford area Saturday morning with that weak little system that moves through. Very little in terms of support for accumulating snow Sunday night. And then there's this little cluster here of blue. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 out of 50 of these computer models are showing something on Friday. So, of next week. So we got a week away. So that's something, some kind of signals there for something to watch. Not much, but that would be our next signal for something. But if you look at this graph altogether, of the 50 ensemble members going out to 10 days, there's just not a lot of big snowstorm signals showing up. Something to watch here, though, 10 out of 50 isn't bad. Something to watch for accumulating snow. So once you start to see a bit of a clustering around a certain day, you keep an eye on it. But notice out of the 10, only one of them shows more than 6 inches of snow. So the odds of getting a big snowstorm pretty low. Not impossible, but pretty low. Let's take a look at the GFS ensembles here. And see if I can update this. This is an older one here. Oh, good. It did update for you. So again, a little bit of minor snow accumulation Saturday morning. Monday morning, it's got a little bit. So some of those snow showers at the GFS is right, maybe a little something. Not much Wednesday, Thursday, but then there's a little bit of a signal here by the end of the week, and something more for toward the end of the forecast run. This would be way out in time, day 10, 11, 12. So, not the most exciting, but, we'll see. And then, just a closer look at what we've got coming up. This is the GFS ensembles, and looks like we get a little something on Wednesday, some showers, some rain. Looks like with the storm cutting to the west of us, we should warm things up a little bit. So that's one thing to watch. Temperatures warm just a touch there. And then another nice little snow event, minor, but something across northern New England for the ski areas. We get cold again Thursday and Friday, and maybe a follow-up system. You can see there's a little bit of moisture around on the ensemble mean. Nothing crazy here, but we have to watch for the potential for that little follow-up system. And in terms of temperatures over the next 10 days here, or 15 days actually, this is the GFS ensembles. And keep in mind, our average high is close to 40, and we're pretty much below that, right on through day 10 or 15. A little warm up here with that system to our west Wednesday of next week, but then it's pretty cold. So, this time of year, you can get cold. You got to look for the potential for some snow, but at least right now, I think if we're looking for anything interesting, we're going to have to look at toward the end of next week. So I've got certainly ways to watch it. That would be not until the 12th of December. And then just for the snow lovers up north, this is through day 10. This is through Monday the 15th. A lot of snow coming in off the Great Lakes, off Erie, Ontario, and still a couple of these minor systems moving through Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, bring some accumulating snow. So you've got a signal for some of that heavier accumulation, 6-10 inches across the mountains of northern New England. And that's great. They'll take what they can get. And also, there's not going to be a lot of melting, so they're not going to have to worry about the conditions really going downhill. There's also not much in the way of, with no warming, with all the cold weather, they should be able to make plenty of snow up to the north. So love to see that. Ski season is off to a really good start across northern New England, and southern New England ski area is opening as well because they've been able to make snow and should be able to make quite a bit of snow over the next week to 10 days at least. So again, we'll watch out. We've got that little system that we're talking about for, I already forgot here. What's that little system? Tomorrow morning, we got that little system that we'll keep our eyes on. Again, not looking like a huge deal, but anytime you get some freezing drizzle and it's sort of patchy and isolated, that can cause some localized problems. Freezing drizzle is never a big deal until you're driving on it. And then a little something misses Sunday night, Monday, and then eyes will be on the potential for maybe something by the end of next week. But that's the way the weather looks right now. I wanted to give you an update here because we've got the cold and we've had a few little chances for something. So just wanted to let you know. Let me know what's going on in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe this page. Love to keep you updated and share a little of this weather science geek stuff with you as we move forward through the winter and whenever the weather gets a little interesting. So have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for watching.